Module 9, Automating Worksheet Tasks, Part 3, starting on page 9-10. Let's pretend that when we made our macro, we did a little boo-boo. We clicked somewhere else by mistake. And so what we're going to do now is edit the macro. We're back in our same spreadsheet. We'll go on the Developer tab. We need to open the macro code in order to edit it. So we'll go over to Macros and choose the macro we want, which is add total, and we'll choose edit. This opens for us a very much too small Visual Basic Applications editor. Let's just do this here. You see the word file on the menu bar across the top, file, okay. And you see the Excel icon below it. We're going to come back to those. And then over in the middle, and I don't have a mouse, see when I'm zoomed in? You may have it, but I don't have it. Between tools and add-ins, underneath add-ins, there's a piece of paper with a finger pointing to it. Okay, we're going to come back to that in just a second. And then look over on the left-hand side at this project, VBA project pane. It's like a sub pane, and it shows us where we are. We're in module number 1. Don't worry about it. At this point in your career, don't worry about it. And here is a properties module 1. You see properties? I'll show you how to get that if you lose it in just a second. And then here in the center, you'll have your code box, which we're going to look at in detail. Alrighty? So now, if it happens that you don't have this properties pane when you open the VBA editor, so I'm going to close mine. If you don't have it, then you can come back up. Remember, it's right under add-ons. And under add-ons, it's the properties window. You can click that and it will open it back up for you. All right, so just so you know how to do that. We are going to be editing our sub-procedure. This is our code that we wrote by clicking. They want you to know what some of these words and abbreviations and colors mean. Colors makes it different when you're using one of these programs. Each color means something different. Black means the text that tells the computer what to do. So that one's easy. If you see the green, it means it's a comment. It has an asterisk, an apostrophe in front of it that's under your right baby finger. These things matter. I know you're saying, why is she showing us all? It matters. Sorry, we're doing computer programming now. Computers are so fussy. So if you want to add a comment, here, let me just do one. Why not? Here. Click at the end of the line, press the apostrophe and say, this is my added comment. And I had to press the enter key in order for it to activate, if you saw that, but it's green. Okay, so that's a comment. The blue, which is sub and end sub, is the beginning and end of the little section of code, and these are keywords. The computer uses them. You can't name something sub, for example. You're not allowed. The computer claimed that term. It doesn't matter at this early point in your career, but if you started doing more of this, it would be important. And then you go take a computer programming class anyway. All right. What we're going to do is add a tiny little section within our sub-procedure or our procedure. We're going to add an extra little piece in there. So at the end of this first line, where it says select, click your mouse, press the enter key, and we're going to type with selection. Yes, you have to spell it right. Yes, you have to capitalize. Some programming it matters and some it doesn't, so I'm just going to say it matters. That way you don't have to worry. Our goal is then that we're going to put some formatting command in on that total where it says total and it's written on it's left aligned in the cell. We're going to right align it. So I clicked at the end of the previous line, press the enter key, and now I'm going to type, and you have to do it just like this. Period. Capital horizontal horizontal no space, alignment. Remember I told you we're going to do that two words with no space between and each one's a capital letter. Equals. You don't have to put a space here on your equals. You could do it without space before and after, but you have to have the equals. And then um, alignment, right, XL, it's alignment, right, and then press the enter key, and then type end width. So what we did was we said, you notice that with, I don't have my mouse again, with turned blue because that's one of the computer's words. Oh, and if so, end with will turn color also when I get off from it. Okay, now within this selection, do this. In the, well, let me start at the top. We're working with a cell called A9. Notice that it's in parentheses and quotation marks, so it's a specific thing. We could tell the computer to write something and we will, but in this case we want the computer to find it. Dot select. That means go find cell A9. Now, within this little box of with and end with, do all of these things to the same cell. So on the active cell, because the mouse clicked and went there now, because we said select, use this formula and notice that it says row 1, column 1. But wait, don't we say like it's cell C5? So we say the column first and then the row, C5. Well, welcome to computers, because now when you're doing the program, it's the row first and then the column. So on the first row that we're on, and in the first column of what we're on, it's exactly the opposite. Don't get mixed up. Into that active cell, put this, what I'm going to write inside the quotation marks, which is the word total. And while you're at it, do a horizontal alignment formatting and make it right formatting. And that's the end of what we're going to do with that set of cells. Now, go to the range, select range B9, and then in that active cell, we're going to put this formula in there. And a formula always starts with an equal sign, right? So into that cell, put this formula and put what I wrote in quotation marks, put it in that cell. Equals, now if we were clicking it, it would say equals sum of, I don't know, what's it, like B5 to B9 or B4 to B8, something like that, whatever it is, we'll go look. Okay, so equals sum, it's the same as what we could have typed. All right, and then we have our parentheses. It's just a little bit different because if you look on that gold box on page 11, this time we're using relative referencing rather than absolute referencing. And we've been doing this chapters long enough to know that absolute means that's the one no matter what, whereas relative means it's the one compared to or relative to something else. So relative to the cell that we're in, back up, and in the column that we're in, the cell, back up 4 rows, minus 4 rows higher than wherever we are, through, that's the colon, through one row above where we are, the one cell above where we are. So above where we are, from cells -4 to -1, take the sum, and then end sum. Did you want to go back and hear that part again? I don't blame you if you do. That's okay. You'll get the hang of it. You'll get the hang of it. And so we've made our revision. We can choose one of two methods to go back to Excel because we came over here and did editing. Now we're going back to Excel. We can either click the X to go back to Excel, eh, or we can click File and then read all these options. And the last one is Close and Return to Excel. And while we're at it, remember the formula is from 1, 2, 3, 4 above the cell we're on through 1 above the cell we're on, that's the minus, take the sum. If you look at it here, it's just going to say the sum of B5 to B5 to B8, but when we wrote it for the computer, we wanted relative referencing. So from whatever cell we're in, the 4 cells above that are what's going to be added together. Okay, so let me delete this. It will go up to macros, add total macro. I know it was selected. That's okay. It's just a good habit. Click run. And now look what happened. See, it right aligned our word total and it still added them up for us. Now, is this cool or what? It's really cool to look at and it's really fun to do, but don't be surprised if you don't get it right the first try. It's okay. Really, it is. That's programming for you.